Then we are joined here by the last company to present at Aktieportföljen Live. And we are joined by Thomas Skovlund Schnegelsberg, who is co-founder and CEO of Stenocare. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
You'll be presenting here in just a moment, and I'll return to ask a few questions. So without further ado, go ahead.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much for the opportunity to present Stenocare and the exciting industry of medical cannabis in Europe. I'll spend the next 20 minutes giving you an introduction to the company, of course, Stenocare, a medical cannabis company that is one of the emerging leaders in Europe. I will share with you the market that we are looking at. There's a huge opportunity for medical cannabis, and now is the time where we really see that growth is about to happen. I'll also introduce you to the products, because understanding that this is prescription-based medicine is important to understand the business case. And then I'll actually dive into the business case in different parts. So I'll talk about the Stenocare sales and profit, our growth in our markets, how our product portfolio looks like, and also how we are investing in the next generation of innovative products. And at the end, of course, I would like to make some awareness around investment in Stenocare. But let us start with the company. Stenocare is a Danish company. I'm one of the co-founders back in 2017. We have been an early mover or emerging leader because we were among the first to have license to operate from the medicine agencies in Denmark and many other countries. We have been one of the first to have products approved for sales by the medicine agencies. And we have actually been selling products in 6 different countries. The company is based on a strategy with 2 different pillars, and we have invested in what we call strategic assets from the very first day. So we basically have both an indoor cultivation facility here in Denmark, which is really a high-tech, fully computerized operation. But we also have a multi-supplier sourcing strategy where we source products from suppliers around the world, and having synergy between our own production and multi-suppliers give us flexibility in both our capacity to serve the markets, but also the offering of different products that we can bring to market. If we look at the investment areas where we have the 4 strategic assets, they can be categorized in 4 categories. So regulatory expertise is, of course, working with the medicine and health agencies to both have license to operate, but also having products approved for sales. Again, it's prescription-based, so it needs to be approved by medicine agencies. We have a strong supply chain asset where it's all about securing the right capacity for the different markets, having the right logistical reach in the very different markets. Our commercial asset is, of course, a way to tailor different business models and business relationships depending on each market and the degree of legalization of medical cannabis. And the 4th point is our partnerships, where we find partners that has IP, patents, and other things that we currently do not have, which is a supplement to our in-house capabilities. All that actually leads up to sort of where Stenocare is today. So we are represented with sales in 6 different markets. We have 10 products that are approved for sales by the medicine agencies, and we have a very strong product pipeline for the next coming years. So all that points to a company that, even though we are still fairly young, have sort of a leading brand for medical cannabis if you compare us to most other of our competition in the European market. So the market that we look at for medical cannabis is huge. if you look at, for example, chronic pain, it is said by WHO that 1 in 10 adults are diagnosed with chronic pain every year. In Europe alone, we are talking about 100 million patients. And even though it's old medicine that has been used for thousands of years, it's still a very young industry because legalization happened back in 2017-18 here in Europe, and several countries are still waiting to legalize, like Sweden, like Norway. So still the opportunity for more markets, for more countries is ahead of us. There's a different range of illnesses that are treated with medical cannabis: sclerosis, epilepsy, PTSD, the opioid dependency, and of course, as I mentioned, chronic pain. So, and on top of that, we have millions of people in Europe that are self-medicating from the illegal market. A number is, for example, 1.2 million people in the UK are self-medicating, and they really like to be able to be treated by a trained doctor where they know what they're doing, and by products that have been controlled and have been approved by medicine agencies. So again, an extra opportunity in the market. So if we look at where we've been since we founded the company, so in 2017, there was a huge hype, a peak, where everyone was expecting extremely high growth rates. In 2020, we had a reality check for the whole industry. And now in 2024, we see now is the time where growth is ahead. And you can see some projections here on the right side, where we have a fairly interesting growth from now and until 2027 to 2.1 billion euros. So this is a really exciting market to be in. To understand the market, you need to understand the products, of course. And this is prescription-based medicine. So once the winning formula for Stenocare have been that even though we are cultivating and growing plants, cannabis plants, you need to think of it as a pharmaceutical company and not as a farmer. So that mentality is something that is really, really important in Europe. We also see that doctors or patients are looking for different products that are more comparable with other traditional medicine that they have been using. And in our term in Stenocare, we divide the products into generation 1, generation 2, and generation 3 type products. And generation 1, which is still on the market and still command a very big share, is what we call flowers, which is a dried cannabis. You typically smoke it as a joint. Then generation 2 is where you actually use it and mix it with oil of some sort, which is now becomes more a medical product. And then next generation products that are starting to be introduced is the third generation. And Stenocare has been a leader within generation 2 so far. We only market oil products to patients. And then we are investing in the next generation that is going to be the next big thing and the next big growth opportunity for both the company and for the industry. And I'll get back to that in a second. Now let's move into the business case for Stenocare. And I divided this into 4 different parts. First part is sales and profit. If we look at the guidance for this calendar year, we're looking at a gross sales of 6.5 million Danish kroner, which is 170% growth versus last year. Next year, the guidance for 24 will be 15 million Danish kroner and approximately double of sales. And also, we are expecting to reach break even at the end of the calendar year. And after that, we expect the whole medical cannabis market to really pick up, as you saw in the market slide. And there's a huge growth opportunity for Stenocare as we also introduce more of our new products in our product pipeline. The business case also, of course, is about markets. We have been one of the very few in Europe that has managed to enter several markets with products and have them approved for sales. You can see we've entered Denmark, which is still our biggest home market, in 2018. Then came Sweden, UK, Australia, Norway, and Germany this year. And we've also introduced an online clinic platform, which actually is a system that we provide for doctors in different countries so they can reach more patients and make it easier for patients to start treatment with medical cannabis. So in that way, we try to expand the limits of countries patients can reach. And our ambition is that we'll be in up to 10 markets in 2025. So that's the ambition. Dosage delivery system. We are branding it Astrum Oil, and I'll get into that in the next stage because it really tells you something about how Stenocare is investing in our own future. So the Astrum innovative product is basically a new oil technology that is optimizing how the patient absorb the cannabinoids in their blood, meaning we can increase the effect of the treatment. We have made some studies, which are called pharmacokinetic studies on dogs, where we have documented really significant improvements in uptake in the blood. We have worldwide exclusivity for using this technology with cannabis, and we expect to see the first product in market sometime during the next 12 months. To understand what this product is able to do, the fourth key point is that the uniform uptake in the blood, meaning each patient will experience the same uptake in the blood from patient to patient. Therefore, when the doctor issues a receipt, then he or she can easily control how much the patient is getting. That's not the case with generation 1 and some generation 2 products today. We also secure higher concentration, so we make sure that the patient get a higher effect because typically our digestion system is actually breaking down all the active substances in the medicine when you ingest it, and we can actually bypass that problem. We can also secure a faster effect, so you don't have to wait 1 or 2 hours before you get to maximum effect with the dosage. We can reduce that to half the time. And the last important thing is that the food effect. Some medicine is ingested with food or without food, and the effect for the patient is very different if you do one or the other. And of course, you cannot align your symptoms when you are eating or not. So when we can reduce that, it gives flexibility to the patient. And these two graphs is from the study that we did. This graph on the left-hand side is a competitor product that we have compared to our new oil technology on the right side. And each line on the graph represents an individual that has been dosed with the same product. And you can see how aligned they are. You can see there's a better control of the whole experience and uptake in the blood with the product that we are planning to launch. So that gives us a really unique situation when we go forward, because it's protected by a patent. So this is a product that our competition is not able to offer or copy easily to the market. So we are really excited to see this product now finally coming into the market next calendar year. I would like to also extend an invitation to all investors to invest in Stenocare. We are trading on the Nasdaq Growth Market. We are in the middle of a warrant transaction right now. We are seeking to raise 3.6 million Danish kroner, and the deadline is December 19. The warrant holders can subscribe for new Stenocare shares at a discounted price of 2 kroner and 11 per share. And if you do not have warrants at this point, they can be traded until December 15th. So we hope that this is something you could find interesting to be part of a medical cannabis journey together with Stenocare. You can read more details about it on our homepage, investor homepage, on stenocare.com. We also have a second warrant coming up this summer, June 24. It's the same concept as the current warrant that we are executing right now. And the idea of having the warrant now and the warrant coming this summer is that then this will cover our need for funding until we reach break even in 2024. So it's basically 3 million Danish kroner in working capital we are raising for, and then we have some existing loans that are due early January that we are also financing. I hope you'll find this interesting. If you have interest, you're always very welcome to contact me or our advisor, Gemstone Capital. We are here to talk about any opportunities and questions that you have. So with that, I would like to thank you for your attention and hope you find the very short introduction to Stenocare of interest. Thank you very much.
Thank you to you too, Thomas. I'm curious about the capital raising. You seek to raise 3.6 million, but how much do you seek to raise in total? Because as I understand it, this isn't the only capital raise you've done so far this year and not the last one?
No, it's right. So last May, we announced the total plan for capital raise for a period of 13 months, which was it was divided into 3 different transactions, which will take us to the break even. And therefore, the first one we raised June last summer. Then the second one is right now. And as I mentioned, the third one is coming in June next summer. And in total, we are seeking to raise 25 million Danish kroner. The first transaction we raised 13. It was subscribed by 127%. So it showed there's an interest in medical cannabis shares in these days.
25 million then to take you to break even, and you're
Yes.
counting on doing that in 2024. But is there any specific sort of investments that you'll use this money for?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we are in 6 different markets today. And as you probably remember from the slide, a lot of them are very recent markets. I mean, we entered 2 new markets in this calendar year and then the year before also. So there's a lot of investments that we like to make to really grow our presence in those markets. We are seeking to educate more doctors on how you treat with medical cannabis. We are seeking to have more products introduced and developed. So that's also part of it. And of course, the new Astrum oil product that is patented, we can do that in different speeds. And we, of course, like to do it the speediest way as possible to use the momentum that we have, and this is why we are raising capital for that.
Indeed, the two new markets, one is Germany, one is Australia. I thought we could begin with Germany. You did talk a little bit about the market for cannabis in medicine, but if we talk about Germany in specific, how big is the German market for your products?
Yeah, Germany is the biggest market for medical cannabis in Europe by far. It's probably twice the size of number 2 and 3. So it tells you that with approximately 230,000 patients today, and it's expected to grow to probably 350,000 in 2 years from now. And it's going to be a market of about 1 billion euros in 2 or 3 years from today. So it's a huge market opportunity. And this is where we started basically a month ago with the first product we have approved for sales. And now it's for us to learn the market dynamics, build the brand awareness for Stenocare, and then also prepare for launch of all the products in our product pipeline for the next year and a half.
And what of the Australian market? What are your expectations there?
Oh yeah, the Australian market is really exciting as well. At this point in time, it's actually the same size as Germany. So they have around 200,000 patients, and everyone is expecting that to double and even triple over the next couple of years. So there's a huge growth happening in medical cannabis in Australia. And we even we launched one product 1 year ago, and we've just announced that a second product is going to reach the market most likely end of January, so in 6 weeks' time from now. So we are also increasing our presence and our investments in Australia to be part of a market that has a huge growth opportunity for the first movers.
And I might remember it wrong, but you want to enter at least 20 countries in the future. But could you walk us through the process, the regulatory process that is, in entering new markets? What sort of licenses need to be secured? What sort of timelines do usually take place?
Yes. Yeah, you did remember wrong. It's only 10 countries, but it's still ambitious, even though it's half the number you mentioned, because entering a new country is really, really complex. Because what we're talking about is narcotics. So medical cannabis is categorized in all countries around the world as narcotics. And that is in the line with heroin and morphine. So it tells you that there's a lot of regulation. You need a lot of different licenses from health authorities, from the medicine agencies, to even just store it or handle it or touch it. So that's the first point. But before you even get to that point, you need to understand the local regulation and laws, because there's no uniformity on laws, not even in Europe. Each country have different versions of the laws. So you need to analyze each country very, very carefully. And Stenocare, we, as you saw from the list of countries, we are both represented in countries like Germany and the UK, where it's fully legalized. We are represented in countries like Denmark, where it's on a pilot sort of test program. And we are also selling in countries like Norway, and we also been selling in Sweden, where it's not legalized. So we have business models for however market that we are entering, and therefore we can go into any market in the world, and then we basically understand what is the legalization, which of our different business model can we use for that particular market, and then we work with local pharmaceutical distributors and logistical agents and so on. So we have a network and a template for how we enter and how we evaluate new market opportunities. So it's typically a work that takes between 1 and 2 years before we can enter a new market. So there's a long sort of preparation time for that.
Thomas Skovlund Schnegelsberg, thank you very much for being here, presenting and answering our questions.
I will. Thank you very much for the day.